Hello everyone and welcome back to another Schnuckatoo video. Today I have a very personal topic. Kind of personal. Well, it's probably the most personal topic that could ever exist. And it's the loss of Prime Kevin. Now, what does that mean? Well, the term Prime Kevin was first coined by Raymond a couple months ago, like 3-4 months ago. And basically, his point was that I wasn't who I was before anymore. And obviously, people change, right? So it's normal to not be who you were before. But in this case, as the usage of Prime Kevin was from the past. Specifically, in 8th grade. This was actually what prompted me to create my second channel. Right before I created my second channel, me and Raymond had a cruise together, and he really enjoyed. He said he really enjoyed my company at that time, and I did too. It was really fun cruise, and he said that that point in my life was when I was Prime Kevin, or Prime Schnuckatoo, whatever. Well, at that time I wasn't Schnuckatoo yet because I hadn't made this channel. But anyways, at first I was just like, I like the first time he said it, I was a bit like, I kind of almost brushed it off in my mind. Like, it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh shoot, maybe he's right. But I didn't really think about it that much, and I didn't really do anything about it. So I was just like, okay. And this was like back in May, I think. And then, this June came along. And during this June, a lot of my friends got mad at me. Well, not mad at me, just annoyed at me, I feel like. And I didn't really understand why. Well, I kind of did, but it was like all of them were kind of mad at me. And like, a lot of people were mad. Like, my cello teacher was mad at me too. My AP Lit teacher was also mad at me. Like, a lot of people were mad at me. And I'm like, oh, that's not fun. And I thought about it for a bit, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then they stopped being mad after a while. And then came the cruise trip this year. We went to Europe, as I said. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but not as much as last year Alaska. And so, a couple days back, I was hanging out with my friend Jeffrey, and he was basically also a bit not mad, just disappointed in me. And I couldn't pin it down exactly why, and he couldn't either, but and then a couple days back again, Raymond brought it up again, and this time I really gave it a good thought. And I wrote a journal entry on it, and now I'm talking about it here, and now my ex broke. So, oh yeah, and also, like making my last Schnuckatoo video about watching through all the videos. That's why I watched through all the videos. I was trying to figure out, from when did I turn from Prime Kevin to now Kevin? And so I wrote a journal entry about it. And if you'll excuse me 1 second, I'm going to check my storage. So, yeah. Okay, I cleared up some space, so we should be good. Anyways, so I guess I'll go through this journal entry. It's not in front of me right now, but I'll just go through it and guide you through my thought process and kind of see where I went wrong, per se. Not really went wrong, obviously, but just kind of started to decline. So hopefully you guys don't do the same too. So let's first talk about Prime Kevin. Section 1, Prime Kevin. Oh yeah, another piece of evidence that supports this is on the last video, William, which is also one of my closest friends. He was just like, oh, you don't sound as enthusiastic as you did before, which I find to be true too. So all these factors drove me to think about this and take a good look at who I am and who I want to be and who I will be and who I was, and just kind of my identity. Not I don't like using these big words. Not big. It's just like buzzwords, I guess, almost. But it kind of is just who I am. Anyways, sorry if I diddly dallied. If you're still here, I guess you're really interested in this. But anyways, I think I used to be a very, very enthusiastic person. I was very positive. I was very optimistic. And this was like near August time. I was still these things. And you can hear it on my Shinaka too. I used to be filled with a zest and zeal for life. I used to smile at the tiniest things and kind of just like be more appreciative of life and be more positively outlooking upon life, I guess. And like I remember during college applications, like a lot of the essays prompts were like, what's your defining characteristic or your thing that you like most about yourself? And at the time I wrote like being able to stay positive in the face of everything and being able to help spread that positivity, more or less. And at the time I think that was true. I think that's why Raymond said that was prime Kevin, because that Kevin helped make other people happier by being happy himself. And then yeah, so that was kind of prime Kevin. That was kind of like, I think you can kind of tell if you go back and look at videos from that time. I sound a lot more energetic, a lot more happier, and just like more just like excited to be making the video rather than now. Like obviously this is a serious topic, so I can't be all super duper excited about it, but now it's not really the same. So that brings us to chapter 2, which is the decline of prime Kevin. So I don't know when exactly the decline began, but I think it was it started during college applications. Now college applications was really, really not good to me. If you watch my videos during that time, I think you can kind of tell. I don't think I made too many videos about it, because my parents made me stop making these videos, I remember. And I definitely do not blame this on my parents. It is no way their fault. They have, like, throughout the whole college application process, they gave me pressure when I needed it, but they were always very supportive and not too pushy. But like during that time, I think I was just absolutely out of it. Like I did no work during that time. Like not at all. Nothing too productive. All I did was like occasionally write a sentence or two in my essays. I couldn't focus. I just didn't I just didn't work on it, even though I should have. And obviously looking back, it was fine. It ended up fine. But at the time, I was just like that's when I had the panic attack. That's when I had the whole like sleeping thing. And part of it was my horrible sleep schedule. Junior year, my sleep schedule was quite acceptable. Like I was sleeping at like 1, but I never slept past 3. Like I made it past up to 6 one singular night, but that was it. But senior year came around and it was just horrible. And part of the reason why I think is because during when I was watching Breaking Bad, I was staying up to 6 a.m. in the summer. So I guess I convinced myself that it wouldn't be too bad to stay up a bit longer even during the school year. And so I was running days on like 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep pretty constantly. And when you get that little sleep, it really messes with you. Like life almost becomes a dream at that point. You're like floating around and nothing really kind of everything makes sense still, but you don't really remember anything, and things kind of feel a bit dull to you, because when you're on that much sleep, it almost feels like you're in a dream, and when you're in a dream, you kind of don't really care about it that much. Anyways, so that was basically my entire my senior year. Even after college applications, even after I got in, my sleep schedule was still like that. Because once I think you establish a sleep schedule like that, it's kind of hard to go back unless you make a really conscious effort, right? And so by December, I got in, right, and then I went in with a mindset of, okay, I got in, now I deserve my rest, right? Like I've worked so hard these 12 years, now I've gotten in. Um, Basically, like, I'm gonna give myself a break, right? And like, I think maybe I just kind of took a break on everything, like anything that required the most minuscule amount of effort. I just didn't really want to do anymore. And like at first it was okay. Like in the first couple of days of December, I was still like, oh shoot, um, I should work on my video. Like, I was looking back at the videos at the time, like, oh, I promise I'll get it by January 15th. I promise one more week, right? Yada yada, stuff like that. And so I still had faith in myself that I could finish the video, and I wanted to. And so I that happened. But then sooner or later, my sleep schedule wasn't fixed, and I just came home every day, and I was so tired, and I just took naps. I watched YouTube shorts all day, because at the time I was just like, is there anything I really need to do? No, I'm done. I did everything I needed to. I got into college, so there's no point in worrying about or working anything anymore. And so, yeah, that happened. And then came a period of, like, I think it was really during March when this started kicking, but I actually don't know. Actually, I think during the period from April to, like, even February, I was still pretty prime. Like, especially during we did the China culture night thing. Like during that, I was definitely. I'll have to ask Raymond about this, but I'm pretty sure I was still prime back then. I was definitely declining because I think sleep was actually a very contributing factor in this. I'm telling you straight up. And the reason I didn't fix my sleep schedule was because I thought I deserved a break, and that included my sleep schedule. I deserved to relax and stuff like that. So, but I was on the decline, and after that, I can't say that marked the end of that China thing. Marked the beginning of my socialization era, and this was a very good era. I grew a lot, and I changed a lot, but it also changed me for the worse. Now, like this also coincided with me getting getting a new phone. Like before this, I did not use my phone at all. Basically, like I didn't really text many people. I didn't FaceTime really anyone. I like had like 1 or 2 hours of screen time each day on my phone, and most of my screen time was on my iPad too, and like it's kind of different having iPad. I don't know why, but after I got a new phone, after this ended, I began socializing more. I started using my phone more, and I got a bit addicted to my phone and texting people and stuff like that. And so that happened, and like throughout this stage, I think I was doing fine, but I was still sleeping late. I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I wasn't doing any work. Like this is a time I dropped my math class as well. Like in school, I treated it as a joke. I still never came on time. I never came on time. Even towards the beginning of the year, I didn't really. But now instead of being lazy, I think my laziness turned into more of apathy, which is like not caring for anything. Right. So before, I think maybe this is speculation on my part, but like theoretically, I can definitely see this. Like before, when I came in late, I was still like kind of concerned, like, oh, well, I shouldn't be coming in this late. But then after that, it just turned into, oh, I shouldn't be coming this late because I'm gonna lose credit. I didn't care about school anymore. And the one thing I started caring about was just socialization and talking to people. How many people could I talk to? How many new friends could I make? And I think I almost became obsessed with like trying to talk to as many people as possible. Yet I was also at the same time too lazy to do it a lot of times, so it ended up being like really conflicted, kind of. Well, actually, I did talk to a lot of people, and so maybe, I don't know, talking to a lot more people made me kind of turn into the people I was talking to. And well, not to say that like those people weren't energetic or enthusiastic, but it kind of took like I guess I kind of just like started forgetting who I was and just trying to have as much fun as possible. I don't know, like every moment when I wasn't doing anything, I was not I was so bored, and I was like sad that I wasn't spending time with my friends and stuff when I shouldn't have been. I should have valued that alone time, I guess. And so in that sense, I kind of just like became obsessed with spending every moment of my life with one of my friends almost. And in that sense, I started forgetting about my family. I started just like not I just think I just didn't like see, I still can't pinpoint it. This probably needs a second video to actually pinpoint, but I just started to become not caring to a lot of things. Like I think my threshold for excitement was just raised too much, right? Like if things weren't as exciting as a certain threshold or level, I just like didn't really care for it that much. And so this was also the time I kind of developed I kind of like started regretting not socializing more earlier, and to cope with that, I started to think like use the like nothing matters nihilism. And I used it before, but I think I seriously used it too much to the point that I actually kind of stopped caring about stuff. And so I got to that point, and then I basically just it just got to that point. And anyways, after that came Disney. I think I was fine. Like there were, I think, brief moments of returns of primeness, but it was like generally a downward trend. Like if you can imagine, like I'm drawing here, right? Like this is my primeness, like this level line, right? And let's say it started off at the beginning of this. It slowly declined, but there were bouts where it went up. Like the China Culture Night, it went up a bit, and then it went down again, and then Disney, it went up a bit, and then the orchestra trip, it went up a bit. But then after that, it just keeps declining. And when you don't make attempts to fix it, when you don't make attempts to fix your apathy for stuff, to fix, I guess, spending more time with your parents, to fix potential problems, and just like when you're too lazy to do that stuff, it just becomes bad. And then it just, you know. And like, I think in chasing socialization, chasing talking with people, chasing all this stuff, I've forgotten about who I am. And I've forgotten about the positivity like my philosophy of just trying to like just being happy makes you more happy. And I've been trying to get that back, but once you kind of like before, I think I relied on myself to make me happy, maybe. But when I started meeting more people, I guess, and talking to people more, I became reliant on that to make me happy. And every moment I wasn't doing that, I viewed as boring. And that view of boring made it actually boring for me. when I wasn't with that, which and so it created a really bad cycle for me, and kind of led me to where I am now. Right? And so in my journal, I had a couple, like back in December, I wrote like a kind of update about myself, like how I would introduce myself, right? And I was like, oh, I'm very optimistic. I'm very happy. I always bring positivity wherever I go. And then I look back on it like a couple days back, and I'm like, oh wait, that's like not me anymore. And I wrote another one for myself. And maybe I was a bit too harsh on myself, but I'm like, I was a hollow shell of who I was. I am a hollow shell of who I was. I don't really care about people as much anymore. And like I'm not that as happy, I guess. Not as happy, just like not what happened? Anyways, what was I gonna say? Yes. So, oh yeah, one example I used. This might have been a dumb example, but before, like when I was, I think even at that, probably not at that time, but I used to like get really sad thinking about what if my parents got abducted by aliens, right? And now, like, even though I feel like I should be doing more to help my parents, I'm not. I don't, like, I get sad on the surface and like think about it, and I feel sad, but then I just like don't do anything about it, which means I'm not really sad enough. And like similarly, I feel like I still act very happy and positive, but like you can tell in my Shunuka 2 videos, like my enthusiasm is like not that there anymore. It's almost artificial, and I don't like it. I don't know if this is true. You guys can definitely tell me if the things I'm saying are true or not, because you've heard my voice over the ages. But yeah, and in a sense, like I think Raymond right now is a very good representation of what I used to be, almost. And like it's like I can definitely see past me in him, Prime Kevin in him, I think. And like, cause, and like every day he's just like really happy, and it sometimes just like makes me kind of sad, and like reminds me of how I used to be, right? Like I definitely can be like that. I just have to change my lens, you know. View the world in rose-colored glasses, as one might say. And I think losing Prime Kevin was losing those glasses, losing the ability to see the good side of everything and care about everything and just be positive and enthusiastic and just like love life more, you know. Like a perfect example I think is this. I don't remember exactly, but back on the Alaska cruise last year, when I was with Raymond, I think I probably dragged him along to do a lot of stuff. Like, I probably was like, oh, let's do this fun thing over here, or I found another fun thing on the cruise, or I came up with a fun challenge that we could do together. That was Prime Kevin. But now, I'm just getting dragged around by Raymond instead, doing stuff. Like on this cruise, he wanted to he wanted to go do a hot tub on the final day, and I was just like, whatever. I don't want to really do it. And so we ended up not. And so, like, I was talking to Raymond today, and he was like, oh yeah, maybe it was a bit too harsh. Maybe Prime Kevin, maybe that's just how I view you and stuff. But I don't think that's true. Like, even if I hadn't changed that much, it's never like too late to change towards. Like I definitely would. It definitely, I had definitely changed, right? And although I like a lot more, I like a lot of aspects of in how I've changed. I lost my rose-colored glasses, I guess. I lost my primeness, and I think I can get it back while keeping the good parts of how I've changed too. And so, yeah. So how do I get back, right? And I think the way to get back is just to be more enjoying of life, to like actually care about stuff more, and instead of being like, oh, life doesn't matter, oh, everything meaningless. Like, sure, yeah, obviously life doesn't matter. Well, not obviously, but just like be like, oh wow, don't think about like how that's true or whatever. Just think more about how beautiful everything is and how thankful I am to be here, you know. And I think that will probably remedy and start giving my kindness back, hopefully. And if Raymond ends up watching this video, I guess he can tell me if he agrees or not with my solutions. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. And I think that's basically it. Oh, to finish it off, let me... Oh, wait. 1 second, let me pause. Okay, so this is actually going to be a poem ChatGPT made about Prime Kevin. I fed in my journal entry I typed, and it outputted this poem. I asked it to write a poem about it. So here goes. In days of old, Prime Kevin stood, a vibrant soul, both bright and good. With interest vast and curious mind, he shaped his days, so full, so kind. He woke each morn with hopeful view, embracing life with passions anew. From drafting games to strumming strings, Prime Kevin's zest, oh how it sings. But whispers tell of a silent change, as time passed by a shift arranged. The decline of Kevin, a somber tale, mysterious forces, his primeness frail. Was it the burden of college's call, combined with sleepless nights that befell? Emotional spirals took their toll, Prime Kevin's essence beginning to quell. APs ended, a respite it seemed, yet Raymond's accounts debunked the scheme. Okay, that doesn't really make sense. Primeness dwindled, but not from mere laziness. Something deeper cast its shadow, causing distress. A lack of caring, a shell was formed, negative coping, and emotions transformed. College apps released their grip so tight, but apathy lingered, casting out light. Once tears flowed for abducted kin, now even sadness seemed so thin. Obsessed with self, social status, and more, present Kevin emerged, the one before. Gone is this enthusiasm, the gleeful shine, replaced with sighs and tones of decline. Comparisons made, joy overshadowed, averse to positivity, his spirit hollowed. Okay, that doesn't work. Kind of. Can Prime Kevin ever again emerge from depths of darkness, his soul to purge? A journey awaits, arduous and long, to reclaim his primeness where he belongs. Seek Raymond's counsel, share your thoughts, rediscover the joy that was once sought. Appreciate the blessings both big and small, find contentment within, embrace it all. For happiness lies in the present's embrace, not yearning for past or future's chase. Rekindle the fire, ignite the spark, Prime Kevin's return, a journey to embark. So let the shadows fade and be dispersed, as Prime Kevin awakens, his spirit nursed. The decline of Kevin can be undone, with courage, introspection, and battles won. Good night, dear Kevin, as you rest your head, may tomorrow bring clarity where primeness spreads. A poem to remind you of your inner might, to guide you back to the prime, shining light. You know, that's actually a really good poem. I honestly wish I wrote it, but ChatGPT wrote